Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's revise. Learn, revise and succeed is the main motto of my channel, where we learn together, revise together and succeed in the board examination with flying colors and better marks that make you happy as well as me happy. In my previous video, we started the first subchapter of the rise of nationalism in Europe, that is the French Revolution and the idea of nation. In this chapter, we previously studied about a small glimpse about where did the first clear expression of nationalism come from and what was the situation in the regions of France before the period of 1789, and when the revolution happened after that, what all changes did take place in the regions of France in after the period of 1789. We also studied what all steps were taken by the French revolutionaries to develop the sense of collective identity or collective belonging, which in simple terms means what all steps did the French revolutionaries take so that people feel united and they develop the idea of nation and love towards their nation, loyalty towards their nation, which is nothing but, in simple words, they did different things so that all the people in the regions of France developed the idea of nationalism among them. Now, in today's video, we are going to discuss about what did the French revolutionaries do after the success of the French Revolution in the regions of France. Now, as I told you, we study French Revolution as the first subchapter of this lesson because we know that the first idea of revolution came from the regions of France. But now we are going to study from France how did this spread to the different parts of Europe and what all was the role played by the French revolutionaries in such a case. Okay, so today we will look into that element, how the idea from the regions of France moved to the rest part of the Europe. Okay, so to begin with, I hope you all have your textbooks in your hand. The revolutionaries further declared that it was the mission and the destiny of the French nation to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. Now, see, let's understand this. The revolutionaries here are nothing but the revolutionaries of the France, the French revolutionaries who had done a lot of great achievements in the regions of France. They had overthrown the king, they had formed their own government, they had given rights and all. Now these people are called as the revolutionaries. Now after the success of French Revolution, what did they feel is that they felt that they should go on a mission, and it is the destiny of the French nation to liberate the people of Europe. This means what? It means that it is the duty and the purpose of French people. It is the duty and the purpose of the French revolutionaries that they should spread the idea about revolution, spread the idea about liberty to the rest part of the world. And the world that they refer here is to the world of Europe. That is, they should spread this idea of liberty and all to the other people living in the Europe, so that with those ideas they can free them, they can liberate them, they can liberate the other people of Europe from what? From despotism. And despotism here means what? It means a cruel and a harsh rule of a king or a dictator. So like the France, there were other regions in the Europe which were controlled by the king, and many of these kings were cruel, they were unfair rulers, and they used to control people in a very dictator way, and they were very cruel rulers. So French revolutionaries felt that it is their duty to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. Okay, so in other words, what does this mean in simple terms? It means that, in other words, the other people of Europe to become nations. So by liberating the people from the despotic rules, what are they going to help them to become? They want the people of Europe to give up the idea of kingdom. They want people to give up the idea of empires or emperors, and what should they become into? They should become into nations. And who is going to help these people of Europe? They are going to be helped by the revolutionaries. So they wanted that like French has now become an independent nation, other regions of Europe which were controlled by the king, they should also become into independent nations. So this is what the French revolutionaries felt. They thought that they did not just think that we should end it only to the regions of France. They felt that they should spread these ideas to the other parts of Europe also, and everyone should become independent nation and live in a prosperity condition, overcome the rule of king and all. Okay, so what happened when these ideas were spread to the other parts of Europe? Did people accept them? How did they accept them is what we study in the next paragraph. See, when the sorry when the news of events in France reached the different cities of Europe, students and members of educated middle class began setting up Jacobin clubs. See, now when ideas about whatever happened, when the news about whatever events here refers to the revolution where people overthrew the king and they formed their own government. This is the reference to event which is given in France here. When this news of events in France reached different cities of Europe, different places of Europe, then what happened over there? See, what did the people do over there? There were students who were still going to colleges, and then there were other members of the educated middle classes. There were other members of the educated middle classes also. What did they start doing? They both started to set up something called as Jacobins club. Now this is a very much important. Now who were these educated middle classes? They were teachers, lawyers, business professionals. They and then the students, all these people in different parts of Europe, they started to form their own Jacobin clubs. But what was the activity of these Jacobin clubs? What role had they got to play in terms with the hearing about the French Revolution there? This is what we study in the next lines. Okay, so let's concentrate on the next line. What were these Jacobins club doing? Okay, so their activities and campaigns prepared the way for French armies which moved into Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of Italy in 1790s. This is very much important. Now, what did these students and the educated middle classes do? They formed the Jacobin clubs, and these Jacobin clubs did different varieties of activities and different campaigns through which they started to spread about whatever happened in the areas of France and whatever happened because of French Revolution. So they slowly started showing support to French Revolution. And when these French revolutionaries started moving to different cities around the Europe, it made very easy for them to go and spread these ideas furthermore and make it more meaning for the people in different parts of Europe. Like for example, when French armies came to the regions of Holland, Belgium and Switzerland and to the regions of Italy, by the time the French armies had come, these Jacobin clubs had already done campaigns and they had spread the ideas about the French Revolution over here. So it made more easy for the French revolutionaries to uh, give more idea and make it more convenient for people to understand what is their logic and then apply it so that they can overthrow the kings over there. So because of this, what happened with the outbreak of revolutionary wars, the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism even abroad also. Now, because of the French revolutionaries and because of Jacobin clubs in other parts of Europe, what was happening? The revolution was taking place. So there were in many places revolutions were happening. People were fighting against the despotic rulers. Now, apart from doing these things, what did these French armies and the revolutionaries do is they started to travel abroad also. Apart from Europe, they started to move to other continents to spread these ideas of nationalism, which is nothing but freedom, equality, nationhood, brotherhood, and all. So these two paragraphs tell us that the French armies or the French revolutionaries did not just change the fate of the France, but they also started to spread these ideas to the different part of world, so that people also get enlightened and they also have a chance to come out of the despotic rule of the king that existed in different parts of Europe. Now, what is an evidence to support this claim? So, how do we know that yes, this event was happening and this situation happened over there? How do we know that this incident has taken place? So, in reference to that, we have a evidence to support the claim. So, in the textbook, you might be able to see this image or this figure 2, and this figure 2 is referred as the cover of German Almanac, designed by a journalist Andreas Rebmann in the year 1798. Now, how is this image a reference to this paragraph? How are they both connected over there is what we study with the help of figure 2. So, what is the title of figure 2? The title of the figure 2 is "This image is a cover page of German Almanac." Almanac is nothing but it's a type of calendar which depicts on which all dates, on which date what event is going to take place over there. So in Germany there was an almanac with the dates and on which date what type of event is going to happen. Such an almanac was existing, and on that almanac this was the image which was put up as a cover page, and this was designed by a person called as Andreas Rebmann, and that was done in the year 1798, which was very close to the incidents of French Revolution that had happened very closely. So what is the intention behind putting up this image? Okay, so you can see there are two different pictures. These two pictures look very similar to each other, but there is some difference that we see. You can see some difference in the fort which is used in both of these images in the oval shape. So what do this mean? Let's read. The image of the French Bastille being stormed by the revolutionary crowd has been placed next to a similar fortress meant to represent the bastion of despotic rule in German province of Kassel. Accompanying the illustration, the slogan, "The people must seize their own freedom." Rebmann lived in the city of Mainz and was a member of German Jacobin group. So what do these lines depict? What are they trying to tell about the image over here? The first thing is, in this image we see there are similar looking pictures, but there is some difference. So in this first image, what has the German artist tried to do, or the journalist tried to do, is in one of the image he shows the French people. What are they doing? They're attacking on the Bastille prison. If you remember, in the July Revolution or French Revolution that you have studied in Standard 9, the July Revolution in 1789 begins with the attack on the Bastille prison. That is a mark of beginning of July Revolution or the French Revolution that takes place. So in this image we see that Andreas has put up that as a cover page. He has shown the photo of Bastille, the prison of Bastille, which is an example of the beginning of French Revolution. And in the next one here, very close, very next one to that, he has put another picture of a fort which is in the regions of Kassel, in the region, in the city, in the areas of Germany. Okay, and like the Bastille prison was a very cruel rule, and that was an example of how harsh was a king ruling over there. Similarly, the castle fort, which is found in the regions of Castle of Germany, is also an example of despotic rule of the German king that lived in those areas. Now, why has he placed both these images close to each other? Okay. He wants to show that German people, like the people in the France, have attacked on the Bastille prison. Similarly, German people should also rise against their rulers like the French people have done. Okay, so by attacking the Bastille prison, the French people showed that it is just the beginning to the incidents that the king is supposed to face if he doesn't agree to their conditions. So like that, the German people also should come together and they should rise against the rulers, like how the incidents has happened in the regions of France. Now he adds a quote over here. The quote is, the people must seize their own freedom. What does this mean? It means that no king is going to give us freedom. We cannot get freedom or liberty or equality or any types of rights from the king at all. So instead of that, what we should do is we must seize it on our own, which means we must fight for it against the ruler and take it by ourselves. So what did Redmond try to do is he supported these ideas of revolution in the regions of Germany against the despotic ruler. Now where did he live? He lived in one region of Germany which is called as Mainz. And why was he putting up such types of cover pages for the Almanac? Because he was a member of the German Jacobin club, and through these images he was trying to provoke people to start revolutions, to get their liberty, to get their rights that they deserve, and overcome the despotic rule of the king. So what does this picture represent? It tries to give us a message that the idea of nationalism and freedom traveled from the regions of France to Germany and encouraged the people to overthrow despotic rulers who were cruelly ruling against the citizens, the innocent citizens that lived in those areas. So this image, the figure 2 is an connection which is an example or a connection between the paragraph that we have studied so far. So this is from our today's video where we study that what did the French revolutionaries do and how did the idea of French revolution spread to the other parts of Europe. It spread because the French revolutionaries carrying the idea to different parts of Europe, and the other people in the regions of Europe forming their own strategies to spread the ideas of French revolution. And that's it for my today's video. If you have liked my video, like, share, comment, as well as do not forget to subscribe my channel. And if you would really like my video, share it among your other friends so that they also prepare well for their board examination and you and your friends togetherly score flying colors of marks which will make you happy as well as me happy. That's it for my video today. Meet you in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye everyone.